History does not reward loud ambition. It favors those who master restraint and act with deliberate silence. Every word you speak shapes the perception of your power, and unchecked speech is a battlefield where enemies can breach your defenses before you even realize. Imagine your mind as a throne room, every thought a soldier standing guard. When you react impulsively, when explanations pour from your lips without strategy, you hand over the keys to your kingdom. Guard your thoughts, marshal your words, and recognize that restraint is the sharpest weapon you carry. Every chain begins with a word you cannot retract, an unguarded response to criticism, an emotional outburst in the office or among peers, exposes cracks in your armor. Silence, on the other hand, consolidates authority. It transforms ordinary interactions into demonstrations of presence. Observe the world as a chessboard, each conversation a move, each pause a calculated defense. Speak only when necessary. Your enemy is not a single person, but the ceaseless currents of society that test your patience, demand explanations, and provoke reaction. Allies, colleagues, even friends, may unconsciously pull you into battles that weaken your standing. Recognize the subtle manipulations and hold your position. One ignored insult, one withheld opinion, strengthens your fortress more than hours of persuasion. A micro-example illustrates this principle. During a team disagreement over strategy, instead of reacting defensively, you remain silent, listening fully, then assert your position calmly. The tension dissolves and control shifts without confrontation. Silence signals sovereignty. Transform ordinary moments of disagreement into opportunities to fortify your throne, letting your measured presence exert influence without aggression. Every idle word given freely is a soldier sent to the front lines unprepared. Every deliberate pause is a fortress built and a move withheld, forcing opponents to reveal intentions prematurely. Weak, reacting immediately. Strong, observing first, responding decisively. Weak, explaining too much. Strong, commanding understanding through action. Weak, chasing acknowledgement. Strong, allowing respect to gravitate naturally toward your steadiness. Maintain awareness at all times. Train yourself to see conversation as terrain, arguments as skirmishes, and distractions as ambushes. A single moment of restraint can shift perception irreversibly. Control the tempo, control the battle. Move deliberately, speak sparingly, and hold your mind as a throne above the fray. In every exchange, demand no permission, offer no excessive explanation, and allow presence to dominate the impression. Let silence cultivate power within you. Let it sharpen your judgment, extend your influence, and protect the integrity of your decision. Recognize that mastery begins not in action, but in the restraint that precedes it. Your calm is the spear that pierces chaos, your measured words the shields that deflect provocation. The most dangerous men in history were not those who shouted the loudest, but those whose quiet command reshaped outcomes before anyone else could act. Every interaction is a battlefield, every pause a strategic retreat, every word weighed as a weapon or shield. Stand firm, speak rarely, act decisively, and never relinquish control to reaction. Observe, calculate, and assert with authority. Let the enemy test your patience, and let your stillness become the dominion from which all power flows. Strength lies in silence, supremacy in restraint. Rule your own throne first, and the world will follow your lead. Be vigilant, be disciplined, be untouchable. Silence crowns the sovereign. Your mind is the first kingdom you will ever command. Every thought is a soldier, every decision a fortification, and every distraction a potential breach in your sovereignty. Picture the architecture of your cognition as a throne room perched atop a citadel. Each impulse, if left unchecked, is an intruder slipping past the gates. Each uncontrolled reaction is a soldier betraying the formation. To rule outwardly, one must first rule inwardly. Mental fortifications are not abstract ideals. They are the practical barriers that prevent chaos from infiltrating strategy. In modern life, external noise assaults focus at every turn. Social media demands, workplace urgencies, and even casual conversation are artillery shells, testing your composure. Observe and triage. Not every message requires engagement. Not every slight deserves acknowledgement. Command from within, and external forces bend to the gravity of your presence. Leaders who master perception before action consistently dictate outcomes. The general who surveys the battlefield before committing forces prevails more often than the one who reacts to each clash. A disciplined mind surveys multiple scenarios simultaneously, anticipates weaknesses, and positions resources efficiently. Impulses are the traitors of your internal army. Unchecked, they scatter attention, dilute authority, and leave your strategic positions vulnerable. Consider a modern executive faced with an aggressive stakeholder disputing a proposed strategy. Instead of reacting immediately, maintain composure, listen fully, then articulate a response that aligns with your long-term objectives. Weak, responding emotionally and defensively. Strong, observing first, acting decisively. Weak, entertaining every opinion equally. Strong, filtering input to prioritize strategic relevance. Weak, chasing validation. Strong, allowing confidence to anchor decisions independently. The cost of weak governance in the mind mirrors that of a commander abandoning discipline on the battlefield. Troops without direction falter, objectives are lost, and victory slips through unguarded hands. Each thought allowed to wander unchecked diminishes authority. Each reactive impulse forfeits leverage. Train vigilance over the internal realm as a daily ritual. Map your cognitive terrain, identify vulnerabilities, and reinforce them with deliberate routine. Meditation, focused reflection, and structured planning are the ramparts, the watchtowers, and the sentries of your internal kingdom. Your decisions then flow from strength, not from the pull of momentary emotion or external pressure. Visualize the throne of your mind as unassailable, every plan filtered through calm judgment, every interaction governed by calculated response. In this state, authority radiates naturally, influence spreads effortlessly, and opponents hesitate before testing boundaries. Every pause, every considered thought builds an impregnable fortress around your consciousness. Mental sovereignty is not passive, it is active mastery, a continuous calibration between observation, reflection, and decisive action. Let the world push and pull at lesser minds. Your inner citadel remains steadfast. In controlling the mind, you control the battlefield, the negotiation, the perception of power itself. Your internal discipline becomes the silent army that enforces your will in every sphere. Guard it as a general guards the most critical pass. Deploy it with precision and allow no momentary impulse to dictate permanent outcomes. Each day, fortify your mental walls, survey the terrain of thought, and command every element of your cognition with unwavering authority. The most dangerous men are not loud but precise, not reactive but sovereign. Rule first from within, and the external world bows. Your mind is your throne. The first light of day is not gentle, it is a call to arms. The morning is your battlefield, and the hour you rise determines the campaign's outcome. Seize the dawn before the world imposes chaos. Every second spent lingering is a flank left exposed, every idle moment an opportunity ceded to distraction. Discipline is a weapon sharper than any blade, and habits are the armor that shields the mind from the bombardment of external demands. Begin with intention, plan, meditate, review objectives, and calibrate your inner compass. These rituals are not ceremonial, they are fortifications, forming a perimeter around focus and resolve. Imagine the enemy observing silently, measuring your strength with each action, how you emerge from sleep signals to allies and adversaries alike, the tone of engagement for the entire day. Rising immediately, setting priorities, and maintaining clarity are equivalent to deploying scouts and establishing watchtowers on the terrain of your ambition. Skipping these measures surrenders initiative, embracing them asserts sovereignty. The smallest actions, organizing a workspace, reviewing key objectives, rehearsing responses, function as sentries, detecting and neutralizing mental intrusions before they infiltrate strategy. In modern life, interruptions are inevitable. Messages, calls, trivial urgencies attempt to fragment attention. Respond selectively. Weak, react to every ping and demand. Strong, prioritize tasks aligned with overarching objectives, treating minor provocations as signals, not commands. During a recent project, a colleague challenged the proposed strategy. Instead of countering immediately, maintain posture, acknowledge the concern, then articulate the rationale calmly and decisively, demonstrating command without conceding authority. Each morning's conduct sets precedent. Indecision invites attack. Proactive measures deter it. Mental armor forged in these early hours carries into negotiations, presentations, and decision-making throughout the day. By enforcing structure, clarity, and ritual, the mind remains an unassailable fortress while the world tests lesser commanders. Your day becomes a controlled engagement rather than reactive chaos. Map priorities, anticipate obstacles, and deploy focus deliberately. Treat each hour as a skirmish won or lost, each ritual as a defensive bulwark or strategic reserve. In this discipline, life's battlefield becomes predictable and manageable, giving you the advantage before most even rise. Morning mastery translates to sovereignty over actions, perception, and influence. Guard these hours as you would a critical pass, strike decisively in preparation rather than reaction, and maintain the momentum you have seized. Your presence radiates authority, every movement calculated, every pause deliberate. Habits, discipline, and ritual combine to make the first hour your strongest, ensuring external forces bend to your internal strategy. Begin each day with command and precision, and the remainder follows your cadence. Win the morning, command the day. Ruthlessness is precision, not cruelty. Power accumulates where indecision is eliminated and clarity reigns. Mental clutter corrodes strategy. Each unmade decision is a silent assassin, weakening the throne you build. Begin by identifying thoughts that serve no purpose, habits that erode discipline, and routines that consume time without advancing your objectives. Remove what distracts, make space for decisive action. Allies and liabilities appear alike under casual observation, but a ruler must discern sharply. Loyalty fortifies, convenience betrays. Assess relationships by contribution, influence, and alignment with your goals. Those who drain energy, sow doubt, or shift responsibility are liabilities disguised as companionship. A micro example: when a colleague repeatedly misses deadlines yet insists on inclusion in high-stakes projects, address it calmly and directly, delegating responsibilities where competence matters. In a hyper-connected world, constant notifications fragment thought, eroding strategic vision. Cut unnecessary communication channels, mute endless chatter, and schedule periods free of intrusion to preserve cognitive power. Prioritize tasks that produce measurable advantage and discard rituals or obligations that offer illusionary comfort. Weak, maintain every connection to avoid offense. Strong, retain only what strengthens sovereignty. Each removal, whether of a habit, a belief, or a person, sharpens focus, clarifies priorities, and strengthens resolve. The throne of the mind is defended not by accumulation but by careful subtraction. Efficiency is lethal. Distraction is a hidden enemy. Observe patterns of thought and action continuously, pruning anything that undermines momentum. Like a general trimming ineffective units before battle, ruthlessness in curation ensures that every resource serves victory. In personal strategy, this extends to commitments. Decline invitations that fragment attention, refuse engagements that dilute influence, and reject ideas that compromise clarity. Your environment, relationships, and internal dialogue are your army. Strengthen what contributes, disband what hinders. The world tests resolve through temptation, expectation, and noise. Your response must be precise, unwavering, and deliberate. Eliminate the unnecessary with calm confidence, understanding that restraint is the tool of mastery. Cut to conquer. The mind is the battlefield, and hesitation is the enemy. Within you resides a shadow strategist, a silent assassin who observes every indulgence and evaluates every impulse. Each day, confront the trivial weaknesses that erode your focus, delay in rising, indulgence in distraction, surrender to fleeting comfort. These are the scouts of vulnerability. Eliminate them before they call reinforcements. Visualize your inner assassin as a predator stalking the corridors of thought, identifying the habits that undermine clarity and removing them with precision. In the quiet of morning, execute small acts of restraint. Refuse the convenience that dulls your edge. Deny the impulse that weakens decision-making. Self-execution of weakness is not self-punishment, but training. The mind hardened in minor skirmishes becomes unassailable in larger campaigns. Observe your impulses as an outsider, not in judgment, but in strategic calculation. Weak, give in to desire. Strong, neutralize the distraction before it manifests. The predator's mindset thrives on anticipation and control. The individual who masters the internal battlefield projects mastery externally. Every choice is a tactical move. Hesitation is a crack in armor. Fear a fissure in the foundation of authority. On a professional front, this can be mirrored. When confronted with an aggressive objection, respond with measured composure, addressing facts calmly while suppressing emotional reaction, neutralizing escalation before it begins. Train attention as you would train a sword arm, deliberate, consistent, and disciplined. Each day, identify a minor indulgence to remove, a moment of delay to compress, a fear to acknowledge and override. By consistently executing these internal maneuvers, the psyche sharpens, reflexes of judgment improve, and decision-making becomes instantaneous under pressure. The assassin within is both guardian and enforcer, ensuring no weakness propagates into action. Harness observation, cultivate patience, and implement deliberate restraint. In this way, you dominate not only circumstance but perception. Let every thought, every impulse, every micro-decision be under the jurisdiction of your internal strategist. The mind's dominion is absolute when the assassin is disciplined. Execute yourself first. Power is sustained by energy, not mere position. Your strength is a wolf. Feed it deliberately. Starve the tendencies that erode dominance. Nourish the mind with rigorous study, the body with disciplined exercise. Each intellectual pursuit, each calculated challenge is meat for the predator within. Neglect the mind, and the wolf grows lethargic. Indulge in comfort without purpose, and hunger gnaws at your throne. Identify starvation points in your daily routine: skipped training, shallow thinking, idle indulgence. These are vulnerabilities, cracks where rivals may strike. Face calculated risk as sustenance, not recklessness. Engage projects that demand focus, debate that sharpens reasoning, and obstacles that test resilience. The wolf thrives on pressure. Its instincts sharpen when challenges are met with readiness, not panic. Observe your energy allocation. Weak, dissipate in trivialities. Strong, concentrate on high-impact actions that expand capacity. Prioritize sleep, nutrition, exercise, and mental challenge, as if each were an ally on the battlefield. Micro-decisions matter. Decline the luxury that dulls awareness. Embrace the discipline that enforces growth. In professional dynamics, feed your strategic vision by absorbing diverse perspectives, listening without emotional distraction, and acting with measured assertiveness. When confronted by a colleague's provocative challenge, Respond with composure, maintaining your position without overcommitment, letting reason dominate over impulse. Daily habits compound. The wolf fed consistently becomes unstoppable, the mind sharp, the body resilient. Recognize that weakness thrives in neglect. Energy is sovereignty. Confront tasks that intimidate, push cognitive and physical limits, and let each victory reinforce your internal ecosystem. The predator's mind does not surrender to fatigue. It calculates, anticipates, and executes with precision. Your throne exists only as long as your wolf is nourished and your weaknesses starved. Feed the wolf. Rule the day. Life unfolds like a chessboard, each square a decision, each opponent a pattern to decipher. Do not be blinded by personality. Focus on actions, tendencies, and predictable sequences. Study movements as a general studies battle formations, not the whims of individuals. Sacrifice is a constant companion. A pawn lost today may secure victory tomorrow. Leaders throughout history understood this principle. They observed patterns, anticipating chain reaction before committing their own forces. Napoleon measured every advance with logic, not impulse. Frederick the Great considered every possible countermove, balancing risk with strategic gain. In your own arena, identify potential sacrifices, time wasted, minor comforts, even fleeting emotions that cloud judgment. Each concession must serve a greater objective. Evaluate costs and gains ruthlessly. When a subordinate challenges your direction, respond with calm reasoning. Present the consequences clearly and assert your chosen path, showing that the game is larger than the immediate clash. Weak, react emotionally. Strong, anticipate and respond deliberately. Daily life demands foresight. Professional negotiations, personal interactions, and competitive scenarios all require anticipation. Map moves in advance. Calculate the cascading effects of each choice. Observe opponents' habits, predicting repetition and divergence. Train your mind to simulate outcomes like pieces across a board. Accept that uncertainty exists. Manage risk without paralysis. Avoid impulsive captures that offer no strategic advantage. Conserve resources for critical moments. As chess masters do, leverage positioning over force. Recognize patterns where hesitation would invite loss. When facing public or private confrontation, remain the calculated strategist. Calmly navigate disputes, adjusting moves without betraying weakness or frustration. Let your intentions appear deliberate yet flexible. Prioritize moves that maximize control while minimizing unnecessary exposure. Evaluate opportunities continuously, adjusting for emergent threats. Strength is preserved through foresight, discipline, and patience. Each decision compounds, each sacrifice shapes future options. Dominate by anticipating, not reacting. Win by strategy, not emotion. Play the board, not the piece. Discipline shapes destiny. Each day you rise, enact the drills that carve sovereignty into your bones. Begin with deliberate acts, morning routines, focused study, physical conditioning. These are not rituals of habit, but exercises of command. Your throne exists first in your mind. Without structure, it crumbles. Every craving resisted is a blade forged into your armor. Temptation is constant, subtle, testing both patience and judgment. When denied indulgence, strength accrues unseen, building fortitude that shields against manipulation. Picture a crucible of fire and scrutiny. In this trial, weakness is exposed immediately. Hesitation allows rivals to claim ground. Each disciplined choice reinforces your control over circumstance, making indecision costly and obedience to impulse irrelevant. Routine is a weapon, repeated, measured, intentional. Command your mornings, control your hours, guard your attention as you would a fortress gate. When disagreements arise, Respond with measured calm, showing authority without harshness. Weak react angrily. Strong, steady, deliberate, unshaken. The mind trained through ritual anticipates disruption, adapts without fear, and strikes with precision. Your body mirrors this discipline, energy preserved through restraint, focus sharpened through repetition. Every denied impulse strengthens resilience. Habits act as a chain, linking today's discipline to tomorrow's dominance. Track progress meticulously, noting which rituals reinforce strength and which allow slippage. Adjust without judgment, prioritizing consistency over perfection. Forge your inner world so external battles are manageable, predictable, and winnable. When confronted with challenge, draw upon these reserves, acting decisively while others falter. Sovereignty is a practice, not an inheritance. Persistence compounds. Small, consistent actions create monumental advantage. Through repeated ritual, hesitation is eliminated, fear tempered, and resolve hardened. Internal fortitude becomes a visible aura, guiding allies, deterring adversaries, and commanding respect. Stand vigilant, honor your daily discipline, and let each act of self-mastery serve as a testament to your throne within. Forge steel, command life. Command is mastery realized. Every thought, movement, and perception aligns into a singular instrument of power. The mind operates as a strategist, analyzing patterns and anticipating moves before they materialize. Your body obeys without hesitation, a disciplined soldier executing the directives of reason. Perception becomes both shield and weapon, shaping how others interpret your intentions while concealing your true calculations. Silence is your ally, revealing nothing yet allowing observation of all. Each pause, each measured gesture, communicates authority more effectively than words. Approach life as both hunter and fortress. Survey your environment for advantage. Strike only when gain outweighs risk, and withdraw before vulnerability manifests. The predator on the throne does not rush. Every response is calculated, every interaction a potential extension of strategy. Influence grows because others cannot predict or manipulate your actions. When a colleague challenges your plan, respond with calm firmness, redirecting debate toward objective outcomes without aggression, demonstrating dominance through composure rather than force. Daily rituals reinforce this integration. Mental exercises sharpen foresight. Physical discipline maintains readiness, and controlled social engagement tests boundaries and strengthens resilience. Weak impulses are neutralized before they manifest. Temptation is acknowledged and redirected into constructive focus. Imagine walking through any environment unseen yet respected, your reputation preceding you, your presence commanding attention without overt assertion. Each decision compounds upon the last, constructing an apex of Machiavellian sovereignty where you are untouchable yet fully engaged. Time and repetition solidify these traits into instinct, creating reflexive mastery over self and circumstance. Allies gain confidence, adversaries hesitate, and manipulation falters before your composure. Visualize every scenario as a chessboard, every piece under your observation, every potential threat calculated, every opportunity seized with precision. The final form of power emerges when mind, body, and perception coalesce into seamless execution, when strategy is lived rather than contemplated. You no longer react, you preempt, you no longer yield, you command. Your aura signals both authority and inaccessibility. Reputation becomes armor, discipline becomes weapon, and foresight becomes dominion. Step forward into life as both hunter and throne, invisible yet undeniable, unassailable yet present. Let this unity guide each action, each thought, each breath. Integrate all practices until instinct mirrors principle. Every micro-decision affirms your sovereignty. Every pause consolidates control. Every measured strike reinforces your apex. Walk the path with deliberate rhythm, every movement echoing the orchestration of power perfected through study, restraint, and repetition. Internalize the convergence of all lessons until they operate without conscious effort, producing a dangerous man whose authority is felt before it is challenged. Master all. Fear none. Rule entirely. Discipline is your invisible armor. Every action, word, and decision compounds into authority when executed with consistency. Treat daily routines as campaigns. Small victories accumulate, fortifying your presence and sharpening your influence. Wake with purpose. Observe without haste. Act without noise. The battlefield is not always external. It exists in conversations, in choices, in how others perceive your restraint. Each measured pause becomes a signal of control, each deliberate movement a declaration of sovereignty. Neglect these principles, and chaos fills the gaps. Distraction, overcommitment, and betrayal erodes the structure you seek to build. When a subordinate challenges your direction, respond with calm clarity, redirecting the focus to shared objectives rather than asserting dominance through force. This transforms conflict into opportunity, weakness into reinforced authority. Let every decision, no matter how small, reflect calculated intention. Your body and mind operate as one instrument, reflexively applying boundaries and leverage where necessary. Observe, adapt, and execute with precision. Treat interactions as strategic maneuvers rather than spontaneous exchanges. Recognize that consistency compounds influence more than brilliance alone, and absence of discipline invites erosion. Master your internal rhythms. Sleep, thought, reflection, and engagement must be deliberate. In social settings, speak minimally but decisively, allowing presence to convey power. Each micro-victory strengthens your imperceptible dominion, creating an aura that discourages interference. Visualize life as a chessboard, where every conversation, decision, and gesture is a move shaping outcomes in your favor. Daily sovereignty transforms ordinary interactions into stepping stones toward untouchable mastery. Abandon distraction, silence the unnecessary, and act with precision. Let this vigilance become a habit until it defines your existence, producing calm yet unyielding authority in all arenas. Every small conquest reinforces your throne. Every disciplined choice echoes power. By controlling what you reveal and withholding what you need not, you become both hunter and fortress, present yet untouchable. Walk through life unseen yet commanding, letting composure repel attempts at manipulation. Integrate these practices until they operate instinctively. Your influence automatic, your presence unassailable. Command respect, not through aggression, but through meticulous, silent strategy. Align mind, body, and environment into a unified system of authority, impervious to chaos or undermining forces. Every day refine these mechanisms, reinforcing your dominion over circumstance and perception. Transform every interaction into a deliberate move toward mastery. Be silent. Be sovereign. Be untouchable.